Oh, it's weird. I don't recognize that number. Hello, this is Barrett.
Barry Gruber, do you know who this is?
The voice sounds familiar. Who is this?
It is I, the 45th and the 47th and foreseeable future President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Hello, President-elect Trump. How are you?
I've got a problem,
Oh.
a very big problem.
Okay.
It's a problem that only I can handle. You have been on your podcast talking about me. I don't like it.
That's fair.
But what I do like is a man with big balls, which is you.
Oh,
Ballberry.
that's odd intel you have on me.
I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there for you. How would you like to be my Secretary of the Interior?
You know what? So here's the interesting thing. On the podcast, I have said multiple times that I think that I would make a great Secretary of the Interior.
I've never listened to your podcast, but people tell me good things, except for the things about me. But
those are not so good things. Yeah,
I'm willing to overlook it if you join me and be in my cabinet of other great thinkers.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
the 27th century.
Look, if you're willing to let bygones be bygones, for sure. I think that I would have I think that I would the country would benefit from me being the Secretary of the Interior.
That's fantastic news. You won't regret it. Would you like to know who else is on this Justice League of intelligence and great looks and brains?
Well, I would like to know, but it sounds like we've deviated from the subject.
Well, I've only had to deviate something once in the 80s, and I deviated it better than anyone ever has done before.
Okay, sure. Who else is going to be on the cabinet, sir?
Funny. So, for my top first position, the General Services Administration, where they do things with generals. I have Tucker Carlson. Tucker has a big, wet, sloppy mouth, and it's always open, always running. Good for a lot of things, people say. So, General Services, that's Tucker. Not Tucker, as I call him.
Tucker's probably a good choice for genital services.
That's for a lot of things, and feel free to stop by whenever you're on the cabinet and see how Tucker's doing.
Yeah, I guess if insurance becomes questionable, I might have to.
The other, and some would say the most important, Department of Fast Food.
Okay. I don't think that's okay.
Let me finish. It's going to be run by my great longtime friend, big, hairy, purple man, Grimace.
Grimace
has been in the fast food industry for longer than anyone else. That's what I hear.
Decades. For sure. Decades.
That's not it. In the Department of Space Aliens, I have the smartest man, not Elon Musk. He's the second smartest behind this smarty smart pan.
Okay.
The Department of Space Aliens, Jeff Goldblum. The way he handled the alien invasion and figured out how to give the mothership a virus in 1997. He thought I wasn't looking, but I was. I was watching.
Yeah, sir.
Him and Will Smith, the guy with the very strong backhand.
Well, if we're going with fictitious stories, I guess I have to point out Will Smith is dead.
I don't know what you mean by fictitious. Jeff has already agreed. He's very excited. He said he'll bring a real alien and let me touch it. So.
Sir, okay, well that sounds great. Let me ask you though.
Two more.
Two more.
Two more departments.
Okay.
I need to run them by you, Barry. People say you're a smart guy.
Well,
to me, but pretty smart.
That's fair.
The next step is the Department of Treasure.
Okay.
The Department of Treasure is very important because America needs all the treasure we can possibly find.
That's a different thing. Sure. Okay.
Welcome. It's going to be Gonzo from Muppet's Treasure Island. He has a big nose sniffing out all that treasure with Kermit the Frog. I gotta tell you, I've never seen anyone find so much. All the swashbuckling and the pirate ships. I hear he has lots of pirate ships. People tell me the best ships. And I want that for my cabinet of treasure.
Mr. President-elect, just to make sure, it's Gonzo specifically from Muppet's Treasure Island and not
Muppet's
Gonzo.
Treasure Island.
Monster, which is it?
Gonzo, the purpley blue guy.
Yeah.
Big hook nose. Yeah, from Treasure Island.
From
Muppets on Treasure Island.
Muppets Treasure Island.
Movie.
Not Gonzo from A Christmas Tale. But
never heard of him.
Okay.
I've only ever met this Gonzo from the Muppets Treasure Island.
Okay. Well.
I talked to him once. I showed up on set, and he was just laying there, and I said, Gonzo, and he didn't say anything. He was just laying on top of a box, and I was trying to talk to him. I said, Gonzo, all that treasure. And he just kept his eyes open, didn't say anything. And finally, my final, and some say most important, the Department of Justice. I'm going to have that represented by the man of the night himself, Batman.
You know what? Batman's a good pick. Batman is a fantastic pick. Will it just be Batman, or will Bruce Wayne have a role to play as well?
I don't know who Bruce Wayne is.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
Batman is here.
That's fair. I do real quick, Mr. President-elect, have a question about one of your recent picks. Today you announced that Attorney General, you have selected Matt Gaetz to be the Attorney General. Do you have any qualms about that? The man is under federal investigation for sex crimes, including trafficking.
Listen. If the man can sneak a 17-year-old across the border, that's a guy who should be general attorney. That's
a skill, huh? Okay. All right. Well, yeah.
He got caught. He wasn't so good at it. Matt Gaetz, pretty good.
Do I need to? Is there anywhere I need to go online to fill out an application, background check, anything like that?
We don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
Fill out another application. Never again. No, as long as you toe the company line. If you do not, you will be with Don Jr. stuck on that fire island with all those reggae people.
Fire Island, is that another word for syphilis?
Call it what you want, Barrett. I'm only passing on the information as I have it.
All right. Well, Mr. President, I'm sure you are a busy man.
Pay your own way to the White House.
I'm on my way.
Pay your own way. We will not be reimbursing you. And also, can you please pick me up 2 quarter-pounders with cheese and a large fish fillet combo with a Diet Coke?
Yes, I will pick that up on my way.
Matter of fact, please run by KFC and give me one of the cheeses. The cheeses were fantastic. Do you remember? I heard that one episode where you and that other guy with the silly hair. I heard y'all try it. Said it was delicious.
I don't think that's what we said, but yeah, I'll pick you up one of those.
Fantastic. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Mr. President-elect.
You're very welcome.
Hi again. It's me from the Welcome to Wonderland podcast. This Thanksgiving, make a statement with ZJZ Designs' brand new Thanksgiving Day prints. Whether you're hosting the family feast or just want to show your festive spirit, they've got the perfect design to make your holiday memorable. Introducing Tommy the Turkey. He's fun, he's festive, and he's the star of their latest collection. From playful tees to cozy long sleeves, Tommy will keep you looking stylish as you carve the turkey or sit back and enjoy the pie. And that's not all. Their Thanksgiving prints feature a variety of unique designs that capture the warmth and joy of the season, perfect for yourself or as a gift for a loved one. Shop now at zjzdesigns.com and bring a little extra cheer to your Thanksgiving.
The All About Nothing podcast may have language and content
that isn't appropriate for some.
Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, Nothingers, to another episode of the All About Nothing podcast. This is episode number 231. I am Barrett Gruber.
I'm Zach King.
We are going to introduce our guest this week, Winnie Tataw. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I am so pleased with myself. It's not because I watched you on Ami's Welcome to Wonderland. I sat here that entire episode and had to listen to it in order to understand what it was that was being discussed. I get accused of falling asleep back behind her while she's recording. That's a fact. All right. Please subscribe and share the show. I thought that was going to be funnier, more laughs. Please subscribe and share the show. That's how we get new listeners. Also, if you could, please consider supporting the show financially by becoming a financial supporter, visiting our website and clicking on the support link. And if you can't do that, please drop us a review, hit the 5 stars, give us a thumbs up, or leave a comment. All of that helps drive us up higher in all of these ratings on podcast platforms. Just to recap real quick, I want to thank Midas and Fame from the No Shortcuts with Midas and Fame from last week. It was a pleasure having them on, and they have extended an invitation to us to be on. You can check out all their episodes. It's youtube.com/@ No Shortcuts Show. They record live on Tuesdays at noon every week. So definitely check them out. Fantastic show, as well as go back and listen to the episode because we talked about Juan, who's got a show, the Travel People's Podcast. Go check that out. It's also very entertaining. Zach, you threw your finger up. Did you want to say something, or were you just?
No, it was excellent. No.
Yeah, it was really good. Also, want to thank Bill Fry for being with us, USC journalist, our former summer intern and producer. It looks as though he is having an enjoyable time despite all the work he's doing.
You know that Wolverine meme where he's looking at that picture of Jean Grey in the bed?
Yeah.
I do that every night. It's Bill.
Look at it, Bill's posts.
Where's Bill? He's having too much fun.
Yeah. Also want to remind everybody, ZJZ Designs, go check out ZJZ Designs, ZJZDesigns.com. You can look, and I know Thanksgiving's coming up real soon. Go check it out because there are a bunch of Thanksgiving prints out there that you'll want to check out and purchase because ultimately, I think that all of us that are going to be participating in Thanksgiving meals need to be wearing things that are politically neutral because we're going to visit friends and family that are.
You could get a shirt with Trump going on it if you're lucky.
Oh yeah,
Uncle Rob will love you at Thanksgiving.
ZJZDesigns.com. Check it out. Also, want to remind everybody, Everplay Sports and Social currently signing up for winter sports, and I'm going to go through this list. So if you hear one that sounds interesting, go check out everplaysocial.com. Tuesday indoor dodgeball at the Drew Wellness Center. Tuesday super rec same team pitch kickball at B Avenue. Wednesday kickball at M Avenue. Thursday kickball at M Avenue and B Avenue. Monday and Tuesday volleyball at Tri-City Leisure Center. Sunday and Monday softball at Pacific Park. Monday turf soccer at Recreation Athletics. Wednesday soccer at B Avenue and Bray Park. And Monday pickleball at Casey Tennis and Fitness. All of those are registering now through November 20th. So by the time you're hearing this, it closes like in 2 days. So go sign up. These are going to sell out. Do it quick. Finally, Tuesday bowling at Bolero in KC. Registration open through December 19th for winter. All of these leagues start, I think, in December or January. So go check out everplay.com or everplaysocial.com in order to get all that information and sign up because
and personally, bare knuckle fist fighting behind Hemingway's Nermo, 1 o'clock in the morning.
You can sign up at ZachKingPunchesHard.com.
No, Barrett, I changed it. It's called GetThisSmoke.com.
All right, our guest this week is we're excited to have Winnie Tataw on the show. Winnie is an independent author and a unique voice in an approach to storytelling. Her writing delves into complexities of human emotion, relationships, and personal growth, drawing readers into worlds that feel both familiar and fresh. Through her blogs and books, Winnie has also connected with a growing audience who appreciate her honest and introspective narratives. We're looking forward to exploring her journey as an author, her creative process, and the inspirations behind her story. Welcome, Winnie, to the All About Nothing podcast.
Yes, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
First, I want to ask you, because in the email that you sent me today, you mentioned a TV show. So I want to start out. What are the details about this TV show?
Yeah, so Wins Literary Lounge is where I just do book reviews and interviews and talk about everything literary with other artists, creatives, authors, and just, have a nice, fun, chill, relaxed time. And usually it's centered around like different themes of like community, independence, being an independent author, a writer,
Podcast
finding your
hosts.
way.
I can't speak for Zach. I can just say some of us don't look as good on television as we do over the internet on very small screens. Where can we see this TV show?
So it is broadcasted through the KDCP network.
Okay.
I've memorized it so so I don't get any of the letters mixed up. And you can also stream it through my website at winsbooks.blog, or one of my websites, winsbooks.blog/Wins Literary Lounge. There you can again find latest episodes and more about if you want to be a guest on the show or do any book recommendations.
Okay. Let me. So, any interesting guests that sort of stand out that have been on the show?
I had just had, oh my goodness, who was it? It was, well, their episode hasn't come out yet, but he is a creative. His name is Christian Morant, and he is located, I believe, now in New York. And I thought I did a lot of creative things. He does everything: music, acting, writing, poetry, slam poetry, directing, screenplay. I was like, oh, I thought I did everything.
He has a little creative ADHD. He's like, I'm gonna try.
Sounds like there might be a focus. You know what? Don't medicate. Just let it keep happening. That's probably the most appropriate way to handle that. Well, that's fantastic. So we'll check that out. It's Winnie or winsbooks .blog, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So can you tell us, or can you get us started with sharing with us a little bit about how your journey as a writer began, and maybe like the specific moment or experience that drew you into storytelling?
Yeah, so for me, I think it started way, way when I was even younger. I come from a family of storytellers, so my parents would always tell me stories. My dad, especially, he loves to, whether it's embellishing stories or just telling them as it is. He's always been like a big storyteller. And I've always loved reading and doing little writing or poetry when I could, like between classes, or making up like fantasy worlds from like cartoon shows I would watch. And I started really taking it seriously. My mom, she had another hip surgery, and I was on Nurse Winnie duty, so she had no choice but to listen to me. And I was just going, oh, I have this idea. I'm like, what if this character did this and this happened? And I just kept going on and like world building. And she was like, girl, please write this down. And my dad, being the cheerleader he is, he's like, yeah, write it. You can do writing. And I'm like a book, like a manuscript, like a full, like, yeah, hold it.
Sit down and do this? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll try. And then I finished my first manuscript. I was like, oh, I can do this, and this was fun.
How did that feel? Like, how did that feel when you accomplished that?
Yeah,
the impossible task.
It was a bit surreal because for me, it didn't feel as daunting as I thought it would be because, I read a lot. Well, not any, well, I still read, but not as much as I used to because I'm a chicken with no head running around. But I definitely, you read books and you're like, wow, this is like all this detail and intricacy. And you can hear like the author's voice when you're reading, and, being able to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write 60,000 words that make a full, complete story that has different characters and different plots, or like a plot twist, or rising action and conflict and resolutions. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to finish it. Like, I was like, whoa, I did that. And it didn't feel daunting. Like, it wasn't scary for me. It wasn't like a very hard task, because I was like, look, I'm going to finish this, but if it's something I'm like pulling teeth, one and done. But
So when you what did you find even in subsequent times you've written, what is the hardest? Is it the end? Is it tying it into a bow that the readers will accept? Like I don't know about you, Winnie, but I've read a lot of Game of Thrones, but watching the series and then the finale just kind of killed it. And you're like, God, I was there for the whole thing, and the end was just not what we wanted. Is the end the hardest? Is it getting them to bite at the beginning? Is it the struggle? We need to relate with the struggle. The climax was it climactic enough? What's the parts you think were maybe the hardest in the whole process?
for me, it's the ending, because I didn't want it to end, but I knew I didn't know at the moment that I was going to make it a series, but I was like, okay, this is going to be one book. I need to find an ending. But once I wrote the ending, I was like, ooh, this needs a second book. So, but definitely
But
it was
did it
just
feel like
kind of,
pushing the ending along? You're just like, I'm not going to end it quite yet. We'll do
Yeah.
that later.
very much.
How often when you're working on a book right now, correct?
Yes.
How often do you find that current events and things that are going on around you wind up making their way into your manuscript? Like, is there a possibility in the next book that releases that's being written currently that there's an evil troll that's occupying the great white, palace on the hill, and
Oh, trust me. It's literally every book has something like this in there.
do you have to go back and go, no, not here, not this isn't going to be the place?
Surprisingly not, because I write dark fantasy, which it sometimes throws people off because I'm usually in pink and splashed with glitter. So they're like, "Oh, you write about daddy and mommy issues? Okay, that's
We
that's
play
different."
Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to now recruit you. You understand that, right?
Oh yeah, you're dungeon.
Yes.
You're gonna be at least assistant dungeon master.
Yeah, I'll probably be a master. I've been to enough conventions where I keep looking at the dice. I'm like, can I just collect them? And they're like,
That's
"You
the
wanna
worst
go in?"
part of it.
I know, that's it. I'm like, and then I'm like, wait. I feel like I'm getting recruited. Let me just slowly.
You're about to play, and you're like, which one do I use? I have $500 worth of dice. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh goodness, yeah. I just because I know, like, when I start writing, like, purely for social media mostly, because that's where I know I'm going to have the least effect. But when I write like a monologue, or if I write something that I want to post onto social media, even if it has nothing to do with the election or people that have been elected, I find that it makes its way in, even if it's very subtle, little things, like, I mean, for me, I think I made a post recently that I haven't published because I scrapped it, but I noticed that some of the things that I was trying to express became entangled in what I call a spider web of orange hair. And everything just became references to that. And I had to scrap it because I you know, I and this goes for a lot of people on social media that probably are like-minded, that right now at this point, I feel like all we're really doing is just trolling the people that voted against, what we saw as a better future.
Yeah.
The red rug that Bugs Bunny fights in a bunch of cartoons.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's rabbit season. No, it's duck season. It's rabbit season. But so when you're writing, I guess, are there any characters that are in your current project that someone would look at, or someone would read a description of and say, that reminds me of so and so, whether they're a heroine or they're a hero or they're anti, that sort of thing? What does that happen? Is that happening right now?
Oh, that happens all the time. I pride myself on saying I write character driven stories, so I love more when the reader can connect to the characters.
Okay.
Of course, there's going to be plot, like they're going to be doing stuff. I'm not going to just have them sitting in a room talking, um, or doing podcasts.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It's
but
riveting.
they, yes. But I definitely try to make sure that the characters I'm writing um, have meaning to them, and they feel realistic. Like their choices aren't just like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to always tell the truth because I'm a good boy and that's what good boys do, they're truthful. And it's like, no, I'm going to lie a bit for a couple of years and hopefully this doesn't blow up in my face. And of course it does blow up in their face, and they try to cover it up with more lies, which makes things worse. And you just kind of repeat that cycle. But I definitely try to make sure they're characters that you're rooting for, but also characters that you can see why they do bad, and you can understand where that pain and hurt comes from, but you can still acknowledge that that doesn't give them an excuse to go and say, you know what, I can kill 40 people today. That's reasonable because my mother didn't love me. It's like, no, that like, I'm sorry that happened to you, but that does not mean you also get to do bad behavior. That's not how that
That's
works.
fair. That's
I
fair.
So,
the most serious thing I've ever written was a story for a video game when I was in college, and I found it so hard to deliver the origin story part of it, to give meaning to the character, and it took me a very long time to finally do it, and it turned out to be pretty good. Someone bought it off of me. It has not turned into a video game, but you know. And the other thing I wrote that I'm very proud of for this podcast was a sketch about someone in a submarine who toots too much and how you deal with it.
oh, that sounds like torture. Actually,
Let me
that's
let me just fast forward to the ending on that one. At the end of it, Zach had our former black co-host on the outside of a submarine scraping barnacles. Is that
That
right?
was no, he was he. So we ad libbed it. He decided he was the fin washer.
That's right. Okay, you're right. You're right.
So I told him to jump into the ocean and wash the fins. And he did it just to escape the smell that the captain was actually releasing and blaming on everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would go. Yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, let me go clean the outside. You're like underwater.
Can I leave?
Yes.
Yeah, can I leave the like when we were like leagues under the sea and like up? We gotta go up. We gotta get out of here.
It
I'm not
was
even. No, I'm just opening the hatch right now.
yeah, it was a
Swim up.
situation. It was a situation where drowning was definitely a more optimistic view.
Yeah, the superior option.
So,
Yeah.
you've written some very introspective and emotionally driven stories.
Yes.
Where do you find the inspiration for the themes and the characters that you do build?
So I kind of just collect from my, well, I wouldn't say my personal life, but just personal stories, and reflecting on people I've met or seen, I've connected with. No character I say is like a carbon copy off of anyone I know. But there might be bits and pieces. Like my brother, he was like, "Did you write this character about me?" I'm like, "No, you guys are just both sassy."
I wrote that about the time you were sassy. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like the time you were given sass, and I was like, relax.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely, I also again pull from real world aspects and stories as well. Like I said, my books do, it's about royal families and how messed up they are. And you kind of see, it's like looking in, you see the inside turmoil and chaos, but on the outside, you kind of see like, oh, well, they're the perfect royal family and they're loved and all this stuff. Like, we're going to forget what they did 20 years ago. But, you're doing great now. Like, let's just ignore what they did 10 years ago. It's fine. It's fine. They're just, they gave us a little money, and, they raised the income or whatever for people, and we're just going to forget about it. That never happened. It never happened. So I do a lot of, of that type of reflection too. And again, a lot of hypocrisy that happens in just the world. I write, especially in the second book. It highlights like between the civil war that's impending, and the two sides that are fighting are like, it's a fantasy world, and you would think people wouldn't be divisive on race, but yet, you
Right.
have things, humans, and you have robots, and you have mermaids, and you have people with scales and can breathe fire. And there are still people who are like, okay, but we can still divide this. And we can still say, well, this one is the good dragon. This one's the bad dragon. And then you have the people who are actually have dragons saying, don't call us dragons. We're not animals, please. And it's like, we're not going to listen to y'all. So, like,
As long as the dragons didn't come and say, call us wyverns, we're not dragons. I'd be like, all right. I'm very intrigued. Very intrigued. I'm definitely going to pick up your book.
Thank you.
When it comes down to it, is there any topic that you're like, I haven't written about, but I'm very eager to jump into?
Oh yeah, I'm again to some people's disbelief. I'm very punk rock. I love heavy metal. That's
Zach is
I
your
love,
man.
yeah,
Hardcore metal, all of it.
yes.
Yeah. You like Bring Me the Horizon?
I haven't gotten to them yet.
Oh,
Okay, I have to keep note. Okay, I know who is I just listening to. Is it Polaris?
Yes, I know you're talking about.
Okay,
Polaris.
yeah, and then I've been on Bad Omens for like a month. I've been.
That's a hard habit to kick. Bad Omens. Once you hear that first one, you're like, I'll pick you up from the bottom.
They've been in
let's
my
go.
ear. They have been in my ear. And then there's another one. I think oh my goodness. Is it Catch My Breath or Catch Your Breath? I forgot the name of them. It's something catch something.
I don't know. Now you have to tell me when you figure it out.
But kind of speaking with that, I don't want to say I love death, but I love talking about like death and exploring
It's alluring.
how we perceive it and experience it. So I definitely have a few books that really kind of, I always kind of, add fantasy to it and mythology, but, exploring those things a lot more than I have already. I'm really kind of pushing it like, what happens when we die and how, how many good deeds do you need to do to have a peaceful rest, or how many bad deeds do you need to do? Like, who is the judgment? How is it judged? And, who gets to inflict those judgments? So I'm can't wait to start writing about that.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And listen, and Barrett's going to be like, Jesus, Zach, but my favorite band of all time is Coheed and Cambria, right?
I'm not going to fault you for that. You have plenty of other defects.
But the very cool thing about Coheed and Cambria is that they're a progressive rock band, but their entire discography from 25 years ago till today is telling a story that is also has comic book companions, novel companions that you can listen to the music and follow the story, and as you hear it, you're building the story in your head, and then you can go get the comic books and read the story that they've written that these songs are for.
Oh, that is cool.
It's very cool. So that leads me to ask you this: you ever tried to write any songs, any lyrics, any kind of thing like that? Come on, you're listening to metal.
I no. I am a lover of all music, well, most music. But I have never said, I can make a song out of this, because it would be very much like, you break my heart, I break your finger. There we go.
Romeo, how doth I feel that, Romeo?
In case there are any children in listening in somebody's car, I just didn't want them to hear. I break off your and.
know.
Throw it
I
out
was like,
that
what can
window.
I say? Cart. That's a let me go to a big company and be like, I got a song for y'all.
Yeah.
Break
Yeah.
my heart, I break your cart. I don't know what type of cart. I don't know if we're in the grocery store. So name it grocery store song.
Oh
I
yeah.
was gonna say, I break your cart. Clearly, this is a country song.
My wife would say my best writing talent is just hearing a song and then making it the worst, most disgusting song they've ever heard while riding in the car. In the vein of "Don't Break My Heart" is "Don't Smell That Fart," like that kind of thing.
See, you and flatulence is it seems like that is
Oh.
a
Is there better comedy gold?
Winnie,
No.
Winnie, I'm just going to tell you, never that there so many times we'd be in the studio and he's laughing.
It's a
But
lie. There
so
goes
many
a lie.
so many times we'd be in the studio and all of a sudden I'd catch it in my nostrils and then
oh
I'd realize that my mouth was open at the same time because
no.
it hits your nostril, it hits the senses, and it's like, and then you breathe it in, and it's almost solid. Uh, he's laughing. He's laughing, but he's a terrorist.
There had maybe been twice. My God, don't wreck this interview.
Twice.
You're out here
That's
lying
one too
on
many
me.
times.
He's laughing, but he's a terrorist. Is what he is. He is a domestic terrorist. I do want to ask you. So I've gone through your blog. Your blog gives your readers like a pretty good behind the scenes look at the creative process and experiences and things like that as an independent author. What inspired you to start doing the blog as an addition to all of the writing?
Yes, so it's a bit funny because after, I wrote the first book and I did my terrible publishing, I was like, oh yeah, I just need to publish and I'll be a bestseller in 2 weeks. And that did not happen.
Not how it works.
We won best podcast and we're still sitting,
Yes, I know. I was like, why am I not a millionaire yet? It's been
Yeah.
2 days.
What's happening? Yeah.
What is happening? But after that, while I was doing research on like how to market your book, one of the ideas I saw a lot was like, oh, you can write about like your behind the scenes, what you're doing. And I was like, oh, more writing? Sign me up. So I started just writing. It was really beginning, just a hodgepodge of things like me, like, what am I doing right now? What am I writing? Maybe some cooking blog about what me and my dad are cooking in the kitchen, like just random things. And then 2020 happened.
Yeah.
And
It
literally
did.
the week before we shut everything down, I had released my second book. It was March 6th. And I was like, fun. So
Yeah, you're like, well, Fauci's on TV. I wonder what he's talking about. And send.
yes, literally had my book launch, and I was scheduled to do a trip in New York. I was going to meet new artists. I was so excited, and then I was home
Forever.
and I yeah, and I didn't really have much else to do. I was steadily trying to connect with more authors, not just readers, but like asking them like, hey, how did you become a bestseller? Or like, what are you doing on your marketing strategies? Or how are you figuring out writing like multiple series and things like that? And as I was doing that, I kept seeing a lot of other authors who are also new writers were, struggling with getting promotions or figuring out what to do or what steps. And I was like, well, I already have a blog. I might as well just keep writing about like what to do or how to find things or, how I can help and, how I can help market to other authors and help them like what promotions and what works for me or what doesn't work or what works for other authors. And I kept going and now I have a full vlog of, so many different topics on publishing and editing and editing and and just the indie publication world. And I've been able to just thankfully help and connect so many other writers that I was like, that was the goal. And I'm so happy I'm able to continuously achieve that as, the years go on.
Yeah. Writing. I mean, being a writer, you're facing challenges already, but I think one of the things that I always come down to, and I've done some audiobook recordings. I primarily try to stick to the ones that don't have characters where the author wants multiple character voices for them. But that difficulty for me, I don't even think it comes close to the complexities of the characters, because you have to remember all the traits. What goes into that process for you?
Oh boy, I get to talk about my PowerPoints. So stop in. So I am very much a planner and an organizer, so much so every book I have and the overarching God Scion series has a PowerPoint. Each PowerPoint is minimum 100 slides. I
Goodness.
Yeah, I'm a little crazy. But I like to give I just I like to stay ready and be ready, because then you don't gotta get ready. So I write about, literally, I have every character that's going to be in the book. I have characters that really don't even appear into the book series until like the fifth book. And I have, who they married, who they divorced, how many kids, how many dogs, how many cats, are they allergic to peanuts? Or like, I have all of this extra information just for my own sanity, just in case I'm like, well, I can add this as a fun little tidbit, or I can add this to build characters. So I
You'll
make
need it
these
for the
PowerPoints.
fanboys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And again, when readers ask me questions, I'm like, oh, fun fact, I actually wrote about that in a PowerPoint.
That's so
But
smart.
yes, yes, and it helps a lot, because it helps, especially with writing a series, consistency and plot holes, because I can go back and read and say, okay, well, this character doesn't like doing this thing, so this makes no sense, or this character wouldn't do this, or they speak this language, so this is their tonal inflections, and I can add that into the story, and have character be built through that too. So creating those, I call them like mini character guides, or book guides. Well, not many, they're pretty big, but book guides I make for each story, and I add to them as I'm writing as well. So you know, I can, like, now writing book six, I can look back on, book one's book guide and say, oh, I can pick like this thing from this character and add it now. So it's consistent. And, some people who are reading through can be like, oh, she just mentioned that. She mentioned that 3 books ago, because that's how I perceive it, that, there are people who are going to just speed run through each book as they have them.
Sure.
And because I know I do that. So I think, okay, if I'm reading book one and now I'm on book three and I see an inconsistency, like, I'm going to know that. I'm going to see, like, hey, plot hole, right there, right there. You missed it. See, you said this person had ginger hair and now they got blonde hair. What happened? So, I'm always that person who notices in books. So I always like to make sure I can, as much as I can, keep it consistent,
Yeah.
and, keep people in the fantasy, because I think when, it's the little things that just kind of throws you for your loop. You're like, oh, what happened? How did we get here? So that's usually how I just over organize and detail things that
I,
help me really build out the characters.
yeah, but I feel like you have to be, because and my next question is what sort of critiques do you get when it comes to your books? Like, do you have critics that are down to that minute detail?
Yeah, I haven't. I think really only, again, when I released the first book is when I had the most critique, and um, again, I really didn't know what I was doing. So I was just like, again, here's the book. I'm
Yeah.
done. And people are like, come back, dearie. That's, that's not how that works. But I think now most of the time the critiques I might get is that, people might read the books out of order, but, um, outside of that, I think the biggest thing is always characters and people who mainly who people hate, and there's mainly two particular characters that people do not like, and I'm like, yes, because I love writing about it. So I don't really get too many outwardly critiques unless it's maybe someone who was like, oh, I was not expecting to be hit with all this trauma. And I'm like, really? You didn't read the first book and the blurb where I talk about alcoholism and drug abuse? And I was like, I thought that was a little, I thought I made a little clear that this is going to be a doozy, but
Yeah, I call them trolls.
yeah.
They're jackals or trolls is what they are.
Have you had any of your books read for like Audible or anything like that?
No, not yet. It was something
Sorry.
I haven't, like, I first needed to find people to do it, and then and then actually get it done. But it was something I was always going like, okay, once this happens, then I can do it, and then I
Yeah,
started a
that's fair.
publishing company, and I was like, ooh, well.
We could do a tryout right now.
That's right.
All right. Give me a character. Give me some of his traits.
Okay.
And, give me some details.
Okay. I'll give you one of our main characters. I'll give you Prince Roderick. Again, he's our sassy boy. He's early 20s. He has some red hair. He is a prince, but he has a snappy comeback for everything.
That's
Like,
Zach.
you're like, how's the weather? He's like, I don't know. You're here too. Why are you asking me? Like, he's one of those. I'm
Oh,
like,
that sounds like one of my lines. Look, and not to deviate, but I'll just say when I worked in radio, one of the things that I hated doing was giving weather forecasts, where I'd be like, it's 68 degrees, clear skies, looking at a low tonight of 52, some rain coming in tomorrow. And then no doubt I would have somebody get on the phone, or I'd answer the phone and they say, it's raining at my house. And it's like, great. Then just go with that. That's your forecast. You're outside. You know what it's doing. Anyway. Okay. Sorry. Continue. Zach, you are Prince
Roderick.
Yes. You're standing in the same weather I am. Does it feel like rain?
Is the
sun shining on both of our skins?
That's good.
That is good. Yes, I like that. That was great.
Listen, and I can tweak it. Listen, I can take notes. I'm a note taker.
Yes.
Maybe that's what we need to do, Zach, and you and I should team up on doing some of the audiobooks. I'll just read the narration, and then you'll do the characters.
Yeah, dude, we can totally do that.
I think
and Winnie's book is the first book.
That's right.
Oh, yay!
We only start asking for money if we come back. If we have to come back. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how many more real estate books I can read.
Yeah, we don't.
I can read math.
Okay. I made that very clear. I was like, we will not publish. It's always the things you say no to, and I had like maybe 4 people who are chefs. They're like, "Hey, I have a cookbook." I said, "Awesome." I'm not doing that. I'm not.
This is not for cooking, darling. No.
But I will definitely buy and make your food. But I'm not publishing it.
So that's another part of this. So you have Wynn's Books, which is the books you've written. Yes. You have Wynn's Books Publishing. You have the Writing Fae Literary Magazine. POTM WBP Poetry Contest, yes. Wynn's Literary Lounge, and then WM Comics, comic graphic novel imprint. So, how do you have time to sit down with us for a podcast?
She's like, I'm writing right now.
Yep, I'm like over here on like my right hand is just like, and then chapter scene. But
Yep. You got a whole new book going about two chuckleheads who don't know
Yeah,
what
exactly.
you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm going to know that I'm in there when I read the decrepit old the bearded.
Oh, Barrett and I
I'm gonna
watched
just
Dumb and
name
Dumber,
them
and he
Merritt
goes, "Wait a
instead of
minute!" I'm like,
Barrett.
"It's not us. It's not us."
That's right.
Merritt and Mac. That's
Merritt and Mac. So,
We're like,
how many authors do you currently have under Wynn's Book Publishing?
So currently we have 10 authors,
That's
if I'm
good.
not mistaken. Yes, so 10 writers, and one of them is one of our comic book artists, which we'll be announcing later this month, which I'm excited about.
That's
That's
exciting.
so cool.
Yeah, yes. I always joke. I was like, I don't know how we did this because we celebrate our 1 year anniversary in April of next year.
Congratulations.
And
1 year, and
Thank
you already
you.
have this going on. That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, bro.
What have you done? What are you into now? Like, yeah.
Yes, I was literally talking to one of our because I do meetings and check-ins with all my authors. So I was talking to her. I was like, yeah, we're not really doing too much April because that's our 1 year anniversary. She's like, 1 year. I was like, yeah, girl, it's been 1 year. It hasn't been a year yet. She's like, dude,
It's been 10 years where I'm standing. Yeah.
yes.
I've aged like a president.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I hope I age like a first lady. That's
There you go. There you go.
Barrett's 22. Look at him.
Yeah, this is. I was going to say something really bad and probably alienate half our audience.
I'm
just going
16.
No, see now I not to, to this idiot, but I do remember there was a few guys in high school who were balding, and I was like, "Oh, baby, you're 16. Why is it?" I
Yeah.
was like, I thought they were joking when they said y'all.
We had a dude with full gray hair when I was in high school, and I was just like, "Yo."
my parents didn't gray until their 60s, and I'm like in my 40s, and it's all happening.
My dad passed away when he was 54, but he had a full gray beard.
Oh yeah,
Full gray beard.
So
Yeah, I started giving my dad his grades at 30. You're welcome.
So I'm gonna. Were you the root cause?
I got some.
So I'm gonna throw this at you, and you tell me if you think this is a good idea. And I think Zach and I could write greeting cards, and or and then we get them illustrated. Could there be a potential for Wynn's greeting cards in there?
Yes. Listen, anything literary or stationary, that's the only I will say no to certain things. For certain things I'm like, books, paper, pens, sign me up.
I think,
And I can draw.
yeah.
So
Zach
I can just draw them
illustrates
for
too.
us. Yeah.
These are. I'm telling you, we could come up with some seriously funny, depressing greeting cards.
Oh, don't. Barrett will make them depressing, and then I'll start erasing a lot and be like, what rhymes with this? Is so sad.
Most of the time, greeting cards are just a one-line joke. Those are.
Put it this way: if Barrett tried telling a joke and it was about someone's goldfish dying, and we were all like, "That was a joke." You preface this as a joke.
Here's the problem.
The kid cried.
I
He's
don't.
like, yeah, that's the funny part.
I don't know. It was ultimately it came down to the fact that the kid ate his own goldfish, and
Okay.
See,
You left that part. You left that part out purposely because
as long as we're improving, go dark, always go dark. No, but
we're losing them. Go dark.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's one of those things that like greeting cards is a really untapped market when it comes to because Hallmark
Well,
has
now
had,
you sound like Mr. Deeds.
You're right. You're right.
we're on an episode of Shark Tank now, and I'm like,
That's right. For a 15% stake in our business.
Yep.
We have the concept of a plane.
I'll be like, a market I'm not ready to venture into. So for that, I'm out.
That's fantastic.
Now we
This year I should try to go up there and be like, greeting cards. I'd be like, ma'am.
now I know exactly what a concept of a plan is. It's parent pitching greeting cards.
I'm gonna work on it. We'll come up with a few greeting cards and we'll present them to you, and we'll see what you think.
Winnie, thank you for dealing with our shenanigans, because that's just
absolutely.
Listen, like I said, this public, all of me and my authors, we are all shenanigans. We're just controlled chaos at this moment, and probably will be throughout.
That is such an oxymoron. Controlled chaos.
Oh yeah.
so is the concept of a plan.
Yeah. You have to be very forgiving in those situations. All right, Grandpa, come along.
Jesus.
I do want to ask one more. So, last question before we get to our, because Winnie, being that you are a non-political guest and it's your first time on our show, you can't see it. There it is.
Gotta do that.
Yeah. We have our 7 questions we're going to ask you here in a second. But the last question I want to ask you is, tell us about any upcoming projects. I know you just mentioned that you have I guess the comic book or the graphic novels that's coming up at the end of this month, right? Is there anything else that we can look forward to?
There's a lot.
Oh goodness!
So,
you get 2. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So for our literary magazine, The Writing Fae, we are now accepting submissions for short story and artwork.
Very cool.
And there are all of the guidelines on our website at winsbookspublishing.com. Gotta remember which website is what.
Okay.
Then for our poetry of the month or poem of the month, that's POTM. That will start in December 9th. And it's not me judging the poetry, but it's anonymously judged poetry that are following different things for each month. And we, at the end of the 2025 year, so December, what we do, we'll compile all the winners and their artwork, and their poetry, and make an anthology book for them to also have showcase and sell as well. It is free to enter into the contest. And when you do enter and you win, you get, of course, a fun little badge that says you won. You get posted on the website. You get a Wins Books interview, and you get to be the star of one of the month's open mic nights and get to actually speak to your poetry live in person.
Very cool.
If possible. Yes. So a lot going on.
That's really cool. So poetry of the month, that's very cool. I like that.
My favorite poet, Charles Bukowski. The Lightning Behind the Mountain.
Okay.
And the Bone Palace Ballet. I don't know if you ever heard of Charles Bukowski. He was very good.
Okay.
Actually had a Francis Ford Coppola movie made about him.
Oh,
really?
Fun fact.
Called Barfly. Yep.
Interesting.
Check it out. He's a great poet.
The more you know.
Best Godfather. Well, which Godfather movie was the best one?
I don't like mob movies, so I think they're all garbage.
Wow.
Oh, see, you
I
remind
think
me
the
of that.
lamest thing is a bunch of Italian guys going like, "What are you doing, huh? I don't know. I think you put your spaghetti on my thigh. And I think the boss is going to hear about it."
There was so much bigotry in that.
I apologize to the Italians of actual.
I didn't say Italians. I said mobsters.
You did, I know. But you did an impression.
The father wants to talk to you. That's my De Niro. I got nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Like, it's that. I cannot stand it. The whole time I'm watching, I'm just like, what is this? It's a guy in a suit threatening me. I can't.
Well, Winnie, I want to thank you very much for being on the show with us. We're going to do 7 questions in a second, but I want to remind everybody, it Wins Books. Wins Books. Hold on, I got it in front of me. I got to go back to it.
I'll fill the time. Come back here. You got your cannoli.
It's Wynn's
There's
Books.
a bullet in it.
Winsbooks.blog as well. Winsbookspublishing.blog. Correct?
.com.
.com. Winsbookspublishing.com. I messed
Yes.
.com. All right. I got it fixed now. All right. Winsbooks.blog. You can find all the information, including the blog that gives people insights into everything that goes into the process of creating the books and the characters and the story. So check that out. You have two book series right now currently available. 3 books in both the series. Am I right?
I have one. It's one series, and
It's
then
one series.
yes. So the God Scion series. It's on book 5 was released this August, and the last book in this, hopefully, the last book in the series will be released in 2026.
Okay.
And then I will rest for like 3 months and then write a new series.
Hey, buckle up for that ending. We're all gonna read it, and we have to know.
Oh, I already know. Like I finished the outline, and I finished like the final big reveal that like all the books I've been accumulating up to, and I'm like, ooh, some people are gonna be a little.
Listen, as long as Jon Snow gets the Iron Throne, I'm fine.
You know what? As long as it's not like the ending to the Penguin, or the opening to Yellowstone this week. Brutal.
Yeah. See, I won't promise anything. All I know is that I have had some readers say, if I don't get a happy ending, Winnie, I'm coming to South Carolina. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, if my main ship does not survive these 6 books, I'm at your door. And I'm like,
That's when you test how serious they are. And then a cannonball came.
yeah, they're like, they're literally like, who did you kill in this book? I'm like,
Yeah. No. You do exactly what Michael Crichton did, and he ends every single one of his books. Not every one of them, but for the most part, Michael Crichton's books, they end basically the same way. Everything's building up. It looks like everything's gonna be, either it's gonna be like this catastrophic event, or that's basically how they end. They all end in catastrophic events because I assume Michael Crichton, before he died, had rent to pay, and it was like, well, let me get this out the door so I can make rent.
yes.
The T-Rex ain't the lawyer, but he had ongoing litigation at his law firm.
Yeah, but
All
I
right.
definitely like. I'm that author. Everyone's like, "Did you kill another character in this book?" And I'm like, "How mad do you want to be at me today?" Like this.
That's right.
Do you really? They're like, "Do you kill any main characters?" I'm
Every
like,
book
how?
will have a red wedding, and you will enjoy it.
One of my friends, she's like, your books are giving me trust issues because I'm scared to ask you.
That's fair.
Like, I keep asking, I'm like, who's your favorite character? I'm like, she's like, I can't tell you. You might kill them. I'm like,
Yep, that's fair.
That's for you,
fair.
Phil. Yeah.
oh,
Done.
no. I was like, the main characters are, well, and she's like, see? I'm like, they.
That's when you
There's
laugh.
an
You're like,
ending.
oh, you thought they were a main character? just
Well, make sure to check out Wynn's Books blog, winsbook.blog, and winsbookspublishing.com. So check that out. All right, Winnie, are you ready for our 7 questions?
Yes.
All right. Here's your first question. What was the last thing that you Googled?
and it can't be the All About Nothing podcast.
Be honest.
How long can a hand survive without its host?
That's dark.
Yeah, that's why look, I told y'all.
That's good.
That was my Tuesday Google. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, that's a first.
For my FBI agent listening, this was for research purposes. For the whip I'm doing,
For my parole officer, look, habits are hard to break.
And so
Fun is
bones.
fun. Don't frown on
Fun
it.
fact.
That's right. All right, question number 2. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, probably to teleport.
Okay, teleportation.
If I
Yield
could
instant transmission.
I just want to be able to go to places like I'm like, I'm feeling macarons. Boom, I'm in France. I'm just merci, and I'm back here. Like, ooh, I don't want to deal with traffic. Boom, I'm here.
Oh, so
Like,
we're talking like in some cases like some like far teleport. I like Nightcrawler, like transport,
oh yeah,
teleport
Yeah.
right
I'm
next to
going to the
himself.
Bahamas.
Yeah.
I'm going to, I'm
Yeah,
going to Brazil.
I'm with Winnie.
Going to
When I
Korea.
say teleporting, I'm talking. I want to be on Mars real quick. I'm Doctor Manhattan strength on this thing. I'm gonna go
Okay.
sit on the moon if I need to.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just needed a cute little selfie on the moon, and I'm back here. Like I'm.
Yeah. Exactly.
The picture, the selfie you're going to take on the moon is going to be.
Sir,
no,
you're wearing a
I'm going to
spacesuit,
teleport
bro.
to
Oh,
NASA.
okay.
I'm gonna borrow a cute little, spacesuit.
An
Then I'm gonna
environmental.
teleport.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna
Barrett.
do like an IOU sticker back to them, like thanks,
Exactly.
besties. Like,
Yeah.
I
Barrett
just
should not
need it
have
for myself.
teleportation because he would have just gone to the moon, and
I
then
would've-
Barrett, he'd
I
be on the
would've-
moon like.
Exactly. I would have murdered myself, not on purpose. That's exactly
You'd be
what
like,
happened.
and there's no bacteria, so you just forever like in a semi-falling
That's right.
stage.
Just gonna teleport next to you and be like, how did this? He forgot the spacesuit.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Got the spacesuit.
All right. Third question. If your life were a movie, what would the title be?
Add more pink.
Okay.
That is such a good title for a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of our guests don't understand that question and just say like Forrest Gump. You're like, no, you created the title, so that's perfect. You understood the assignment.
Congratulations. You just won an Emmy
Yeah.
Yes.
or an Oscar. Add more pink. Good. All right. Number 4. If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, I love food.
Me too.
Let's see. That's hard. I could either sushi. Because my parents are Cameroonian, so I'm Cameroonian.
Okay.
So either one of my favorite dishes is ekwang, which is coca leaves wrapped in usually pounded cassava and boiled with a red stew and meat, and it's so good.
Okay.
And it takes me forever to make, but it's so good. I would either have that or sushi. So either something very hearty and warm, or just fish and rice.
All right.
That sounds like a labor of love.
Gun to your head,
Yes.
though. Which one? Sushi?
You did name 2.
Ekwang. I'm gonna have to go with.
Ekwang.
I'm gonna have to go with yes.
All right.
Apropos of that, I remember being like 12 and eating a peanut butter and jelly, and be like, if I had one wish and one food to eat, it'd be peanut butter and jelly. I'd be so mad if that wish worked today. I'd be like, I don't know, everything's peanut butter and jelly for me.
All right. Question number 5. What is your least favorite candy and why?
Milk duds.
Milk duds.
Yes.
I
They have
got
a
it.
terrible name.
Visually
They
unappealing.
look funky. They look like little animal turds.
Yeah. I don't
Tastes like them
disagree.
too.
I don't
It's
disagree.
Who made that? I know the creator's probably gone, but we need to do a seance or something because we need
I'm
to
still
talk.
here, Herman Milk Dud. Yeah.
Because why? Like what you said, milk and dud like that, and said, "Oh, that's a name."
The inventor of the milk dud, Franklin D. Milk Dud.
Mr.
Like
Milk Dud.
what?
There's no way he got out of 4th grade without getting a purple nurple or something.
Exactly.
Hey, Milk Dud, what are you eating? You'll see one day in movies you'll be throwing them at people in the front
Then
row.
they make a nasty candy and then are confused on why they're still getting bullied. Like, I do not condone bullying, but no, we need to talk to somebody. Someone needs to get a wedgie or a spitball or something.
I don't condone violence against other people, but somebody take care of this one.
Yeah. Because I
Man.
Halloween just passed, and it's always you try to get your little bag of chocolate, and they have them there. And they don't have it any other time.
That's fair.
I've never seen like a box of milk duds
Movie
at the
theaters.
store because no one.
There was a time movie theaters had milk duds. They may still have milk duds, but
Not the ones I go to.
Hey, I
If
see
they
you.
do those boxes are older than me.
hold on. That
If
opens up a
they-
whole different question, Winnie.
Yeah. Are you
What-
going to really
what-
good ones or am I going to really shitty ones?
Hey, listen, those milk
God damn it,
duds are
Carmike. I
there
hear
for
there's better
display.
candy. Yeah.
If you see them, they're just display. They have been there for probably 40 years. If you open them, those milk duds are probably milk dust. It's not. It's just those are just there for show. So when the milk
See.
dud person comes in to go like, "Oh, are you guys selling?" They're like, "Yeah, they're up here on the shelf.
Purely out
They're
of
here."
purely out of curiosity, do you think the late great Pee Wee Herman they had milk duds at his theater?
I like milk duds, Dottie.
Listen, I
Winnie's
see your milk duds, and I raise you Tootsie Rolls. No one bites into a Tootsie Roll and like I made a good
They're
decision.
cousins. They're cousins.
Oh, I don't like
Milk Dud
Rolos.
is the older cousin.
Milk duds has like dry,
Tootsie
like
is
crispy
the younger
cooking
cousin
roll.
who's trying to be hip and try to still fit in. Milk Dud has accepted its fate. It's like, listen,
And they
I'm
had the gall to
here.
make the
I'm
big
not
Tootsie Rolls. You're just like,
exactly like the Tootsie Roll was like, look, I'm flexible and I'm fun and I can come to the party. Everyone's like
you get out of here, Tootsie
Skittles and
Roll.
Starburst are looking around like, who invited?
Our M&M peanut butters are here. We don't need you anymore.
Like the M&Ms and the fruit roll-ups are like, did y'all forget to take them off like the
Why don't you go tell
I just
Capitano
saw-
Rocher that the milk dud showed up? Yeah.
Exactly. And then I can just see the Tootsie going home like, Milk Dud.
You know what? My nickname
No one
in high
wanted to
school.
see this Tootsie Roll.
It just reminded me my nickname in high school, Milk Dud.
Oh.
No.
That was from what was in your underwear after
Again,
gym class.
a candy, if you're using a candy as an insult, that's just another strike because
That is so fair. What a great observation. If a candy's being used as an insult.
Yeah, your
It's a
candy
bad
has
candy.
failed. Yeah.
yes.
It's gonna be bottom shelf candy. That's
Exactly. Like
yeah.
no one's going, haha, look at cotton candy. It's like
That's
what?
what you
That
try to-
lemon head. Yeah.
That's what you
Exactly.
try and train your children to not eat candy all the time. It's like they can only reach for the milk duds at the bottom. That's
Hot
that's-
tamale, hot
Exactly.
tamale.
No one's
Yeah,
going,
nobody likes
look
that.
at gummy bear. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like that makes no sense.
All right, question
No.
number 6. What is one unusual talent or strange talent that you have that no one knows about, or that maybe some people know about, and you're just telling us because we didn't know about it?
Let's see. What's strange? I'm trying to
You have
think
the
of-
talent to wrangle two knuckleheads.
I don't know if it's a I don't know if it's a talent, but I used to be really good at telling different types of ham apart. So like I could take like I could differentiate about about 7 different types of like hams from honey,
No way.
Black Forest, oven roasted, charcoal grilled. Like I could like
That's
I
a
could
honey glazed ham.
Yep.
That is
Yes.
an
No way.
impressive talent.
I can
Yes.
tell you hot ham, cold ham.
Oh. There's okay. You
One's
see
in
how
the
I-
fridge and one's coming out of the oven.
That is an unusual talent. That is. I'm gonna have to think
You're
back
a
on
big
some of the things I can
Fan
do.
ham? You're a
Yeah.
fan of ham?
I am.
So okay, then this is a question. So we for dinner a couple nights ago we had ham, but it was ham that we cooked
He's
with
like, it was a hamburger.
pineapple. It had pineapple and whatnot. What typical type of ham do you have that has like the pineapple with the sauce and the
Christmas.
So the brown sugar glaze?
yeah?
That's usually okay. Yes, I told you. I'm
She nailed it
I
right
am-
off the bat.
I told you I took my ham serious. I was very
Listen.
serious with my hams.
More power
Listen.
to you.
I'm a big ham person. Like when my family would do Thanksgiving, they had a turkey. I'm like, I don't want that dry. I want that sweet ham. I want that ham.
Yes.
Can we not do turkey? Just get a ham.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. All right.
I'm definitely.
That's an unusual talent. That's good. Look. There's been a lot of firsts tonight. That's for
Hey,
sure.
when my new job told me that for Thanksgiving and Christmas they'll give you a ham for each holiday,
Nice.
that's when I signed. I was like, I don't care how much you're paying me. Free ham?
Listen, Ham?
Ran.
Yeah, free ham. Oh yeah.
All right. Last question is: if you could have dinner with any three people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Okay, one would definitely have to be my great grandmother, who raised my mommy. I never got to meet her. She passed before I got here. Before I landed on Earth.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I come from a different planet too, so
Before you're a spaceship.
Yes. My second would probably Megan Thee Stallion, because we both love anime and I do love her rap. She's great. And I just really have a fun little
Cam.
And
The Hamburglar. I have to meet him.
and let me see, my third person it would probably be an artist, but I feel weird. It feel like an interview, so it'd be like, so your retrospection on color, like and it would be fun. But probably
Van Gogh's
Van
sitting
Gogh,
there like, what?
I'd probably ask Van Gogh. I'd be like, hey bestie, how are you feeling before we start? Like how's everything? Okay.
He's like, my eyes are itchy, but other than that, ask away. What's going on?
Yes, I would probably be like, I got some notes, not notes, but just some questions. So start your night.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound awful, but I imagine you add it, you inviting like Oedipus, and then him trying to invite his mom.
Was your mom that good looking?
I don't know why that came into my head.
Yeah. There's a complex there, all right.
Yeah. Those are good. I think Megan Thee Stallion would
Xandra, turn the podcast off now.
There's your you have reached the end of the show.
I'm calling her now.
I just see a big red warning. I'm like, ooh, did I say it?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, he said it. Yep.
Yeah.
He mentioned it. Yep. Run. Move.
I'm like, why am I mute all of a sudden? Like, can y'all hear? I'm like,
oh my gosh, those are good. Those are good.
Those are great answers.
We have learned a considerable amount, and I appreciate you coming along for the ride on this one, because this was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Look, everybody, make sure to check out winsbooks.blog. You can find you can make purchases through the blog through that website as well. 10 authors, I think you said, on winsbookspublishing.com. So go check that out as well. Winnie, thank you very much for being on the show with us. It was a pleasure, and I hope that we get to see you at the next Comic-Con here in Columbia, or Wilmington or Myrtle Beach. We've got a lot of them.
I'm always doing conventions, except for now because it's turkey time, and then after turkey time is Christmas time, and then I go hibernate for holidays. So
I don't blame you. Not at all. All right. Well, again, check out winsbooks.blog and winsbookspublishing.com. Thank you very much, Winnie, for being on the show with us. We'll wrap it up. This is going to do it for episode number 231. Thank you very much, Winnie, for being on with us. Links to past episodes, podcast platforms, merchandise, and social media are available at our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. And if you think our financial model of giving away free content and entertainment is silly, and you're in the giving mood, why not become an official Nothinger and support the show monthly? Members get early access to this episode as well as exclusive content, or you can make a one-time donation through the same link. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can also leave us a message, 803-672-0533. You can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com, or you can join our Discord server. Links available at theallaboutnothing.com. Everybody, thank you all for listening. Stay safe, be kind, and
keep your hands to yourself, please.
The All About Nothing podcast is produced and engineered by me, Barrett Gruber. Thanks to Cake for our intro music, Sick of You. You can follow everything Cake the band at cakemusic.com. Thanks to Muff the producer for our outro music. You can follow Muff on Instagram at Muff the producer. I am Barrett Gruber. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Barrett Gruber, or visit my Linktree /Barrett Gruber. Want to support the show? Visit our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com, and become a member. There are several tiers available, including memberships that give you early access to episodes as well as exclusive exclusive content. Visit theallaboutnothing.com. To find links to our social media, merchandise, and past episodes, visit theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be heard on the show, you can call and leave us a message. Dial 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is more than you can handle, check out our partner podcast. Zach and I host What the Pod Was That with Carrie Simmons. Visit whatthepodwasthat.com for links and details. Me takes a deep dive down the rabbit hole in episodes of Welcome to Wonderland. Available on all the podcast platforms. Visit WTWLpod.com for details. As well, you can listen to the political and social conversation between Dr. Jamela Brooks and Bill Kimmler on Black, White, and Blue in the South. Available wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe and share this show. If you're on YouTube, please like and hit the notification bell. Thank you for listening. The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media and copyright 2024, all rights reserved.